Hello and welcome to another very chatty video. This is a new series that I'm doing that I might have a name for it yet. I might not have a name for it yet. I don't know. If I do, then it was probably in the title of this video. I am out of breath because I ran to press record and ran back here, and apparently I'm out of shape. It's also I don't even know what time it is. I left my phone somewhere, probably up there. It's 10:30 at night on a Saturday. We got church tomorrow, but I'm here filming because my husband is working on schoolwork. So let's hang out. Why not? Let's hang out. So this is a series where I'm just sharing stories and testimonies in my life and sharing the lessons learned along the way, sharing biblical insight along the way. I am a 30-year-old female minister alongside my husband. We are youth leaders at our church. I also own a small gold-filled jewelry business, and I do pop-ups and share those in here in this channel, share the journey and behind the scenes of that, and just honestly share my life with you guys, sprinkling that encouragement, inspiration, and Bible throughout the way. So today is the second video of this series, and let's just share with you guys some testimonies, some stories. I'm giving you the tea. I'm doing it sitting in my living room. We're hanging out as friends. It's going to be fun. Let's go. All right, so first thing first, I'm going to drink some more water because my goodness, we're going to get chatty. So I have forewarned you, this is a chatty video. If you don't like ranting, this is not the video for you because I am a ranter. That is what I do. Okay. So before I get the comments, you have been warned. All right. Don't say I didn't warn you. We're kind of doing this podcast style, but I'm very candid. So let's start off with me telling you what's the story I want to share with you today. This is my favorite. This is one that I could literally yap about for hours. And that is how my husband and I met, our love story, how it all went down, because from the moment that we started dating to the moment we got engaged, it was 7 months. So it was fast, but at the same time, it wasn't. And I want to share with you guys, I'm going to give you all the details because it really was such a God thing. And it was not easy, but it was such a God thing. And I really am gearing this toward the girlies that are like, does true love even exist anymore? Because these people are fools out here. Well, I want to tell you, spoiler alert, yes, true love exists. And when it's from God, when it's that real, authentic love, it's even better and more amazing than you could ever imagine. And I am so tired of girls getting these bad apples left and right. There's got to be some good guys left out there, some good God-fearing men. And so I hope that in me sharing my testimony, you'll be able to maybe find some things that you can add to your list, because you should absolutely have a list of standards that you are willing, of things that you want and are willing to tolerate, and the things that you're no, that's a non-negotiable. And you should base that list off of the scriptures first of all, on the scriptures and what God has to say, but then also on your life, what kind of life you feel God is calling you to. That's why you got to have these stuff straight in your mind. We're going to get to all of that, but let's go ahead and get into the story. I just want you to do, pull out some nuggets, okay, from the story. It's not just a story for you guys to get a story. Truly, there's going to be some nuggets that I think God really wants you to learn. And let's get into it. So my husband and I met very unusually, and I don't even know what comments I'll get about this, but we met through very unusual means that many couples do not. So my dad started attending a church that Daniel's father, my husband, that Daniel's father was actually co-pastoring with another pastor. And basically it turned out that my stepmom grew up with Daniel's father back up north. We are in Central Florida now. And my dad starts attending his church and sees that Daniel's dad has Daniel, who's just 2 years younger than me. And Daniel's sister is 4 or 5 years older than me. And I also have a brother that's a couple years older than me. So basically, we're all around the same age. I have a twin sister. Daniel has a younger brother and an older sister, and we're all in the kind of the same age range. And Daniel and his sister were worship leaders and youth leaders and just really locked in with God. And when I first met Daniel, I was 19 years old and he was 17. And my dad is just kind of like, he kept talking about this new church that he was going to. He keeps talking about the pastor's kids, how they're around our age and that they also love God and are on fire for God. This, despite how young they are, they're like, they take God seriously. And to be honest with you, I'm like 19 years old and like, I want to have a boyfriend. Like I really do. But to be like super, was I 19 already? No, I must have been. Yeah, I think I was 19. Anyways, I digress. I remember just like kind of being excited to meet them but I was actually really shy at the time. I've always been a very shy person. It's just really in recent years, and those are just stories that we're going to get to as well, I've learned to be more open. But literally, I was kind of excited to meet them and to hear that they also love God with us. Like, I really wanted to have a boyfriend at the age of 19, but to be super honest with you, like, I just didn't meet guys that were like on fire for God, locked in with Jesus, taking God seriously. I just didn't find guys like that. And when I was 19, I was in the process to get certified as a minister, like full blown with the Assemblies of God. So I was kind of like, I'm not here to mess with no fool, like I need someone who like loves the Lord, is going after God. Maybe I'm not ready to get married right now, but like I'm serious about where I'm headed. So basically, Daniel's church puts on a rap concert and they needed a worship team to kind of like open up the service. It was like a rap concert, but it was also like a play at the same time. It was really interesting. And I'm talking, this was back in maybe 2013-ish, 2014. And it was like a really interesting concept. But basically, my dad was like, Daniel's dad, and my dad basically came up with this plot to get my older brother to fall in love with Daniel's older sister. Like, they were literally plotting how they were going to get them together. Never did it cross their minds about Daniel and either my sister and I. Like, it was more like my older brother and Daniel's older sister. And so basically the plot leads them to get us together as a worship team because my sister and I sing. I play piano. My sister plays guitar. My brother plays piano and sings. Daniel plays guitar. So basically, like, we were the worship team for the night, and Daniel's sister also plays piano. She plays guitar and she sings. So basically, they get us all together as a worship team. And we do worship for this event. And that was the first time that we met. Again, this is like 2013, 2014-ish. And basically, my brother and Daniel's older sister hit it off right away. And within a couple of months, they start dating, and they're like seriously dating. And I remember from the first day I met Daniel, I had a crush on him. I just loved his charisma. I loved how, despite he was 17, I'm 19. Of course, I felt way older than him, and I'm just like a year and a half older than him. But I felt so much older than him. I've already graduated high school a couple years earlier. He's in his senior year, and I'm just like, oh, like a high school boy, But I couldn't help it. Like, I really thought he was cute. I loved, like, despite his young age and like he's like a high school boy, like I loved how he conducted himself in like a really mature way. Loves the Lord. I see his family's fire for God. And you meet a lot of people in church who are like regular churchgoers and everything, but like they maybe don't take their relationship with God too seriously. And I really took mine seriously. And I saw the same in Daniel's family, and it really impressed me, and I loved it. So I'm kind of a little bit head over heels for him. However, like I mentioned, I was very insecure and very shy. So I do nothing. I say nothing. I just, whenever I would like a guy back in those days, I would shut down. I would put up this wall. And basically, I didn't want them to know I liked them. So I would like go out of my way to make sure that it was known that not only do I not have a crush on you, I don't even like you. And for many years, Daniel really thought not only was I not interested in him, but I didn't even like him, like at all as a person, which is kind of sad. But I was so embarrassed. Honestly, because I was like a very prideful person back then. But I was so embarrassed, like my family or people would find out that I like him. But anyways, my brother and Daniel's sister date for 3 years, and tragedy strikes. Daniel's father And of course, at this point, he's my brother's father-in-law. My brother and Daniel's sister are engaged, and he's battling cancer and it's not looking good. And my brother ends up having to get married in hospice, where Daniel's father was spending his last days. And they end up getting married in the chapel. They had this huge wedding planned, which they ended up still doing about a month later or a few weeks later. But unfortunately, Daniel's father passes because of cancer. And I remember at the time, Daniel was dating other people. I dated other people. And I kind of remember, I had this crush on Daniel initially when I met him, but then I just let it go, honestly. Life just never brought us together. And I just never really wanted that anymore, to be honest with you. Like, it was, he was dating other people and I'm doing my own thing. And it was just like, we lived in different cities. So it was just kind of like nothing happened. Nothing came of it. Years went on. My brother and my sister-in-law, they dated for 3 years. They get married. At this point, my sister-in-law is now pregnant with their first kid. They've been married a few years. And I always kind of would watch Daniel from afar. Obviously, in different holidays or family stuff that would happen with my brother and my sister-in-law, Daniel would be there because now our families are connected through the marriage of our siblings. So obviously I would see him throughout the years, and I really grew to admire him. Again, very respectful. Like, he had girlfriends and stuff like that. So like nothing ever romantically ever happened between us. And honestly, we never really spoke much. Like, it was more like, hi, how you doing? That's it, your brother-in-law. But really nothing else beyond that. It was very interesting to say the least. But I remember I grew in admiration for him, just the way he handled his father's passing, the way he handled tragedy in his life. I would watch him from afar as he was handling his father's illness and ministry opportunities that were being handed to him. He became the youth leader at his church. And I just grew in admiration, honestly. He ended up getting credentialed as a minister a year or two after me. And I just really admired him. I was like, man, this guy has been handed some doo-doo, with his father getting sick. And it's tragic what is happening. But like, to see him preaching with fervor, I used to love, and I still do to this day, obviously, but just thinking to back then, like, loved the way he brought the word of God, loved the way he worshiped, loved the way he took the things of God seriously. So I grew in admiration for him really from afar. And fast forward a few years, our siblings have been married a couple of years, and Daniel makes a move for me. But the way he made the move for me is he actually tells, I believe, my brother and my sister-in-law, because I get this like random text from my brother and my sister-in-law saying, hey, would you ever consider Daniel? At the time, he actually was single. And for the longest time, he had like a couple of girlfriends, and he took his relationships pretty seriously, because he would be with them for, a couple of years, and then, for some reason it wouldn't work out or whatever. But I remember being so taken aback, because this was in January, and this is where it's going to get very supernatural. And I don't take that word lightly, because we know it gets used in weird ways, but like, really, I felt like this was such a God thing. So I was in a season of life where I made this covenant with the Lord. I made a covenant with God, basically this promise between me and God. And I said, Lord, I am not going to date. I am not going to date, because like, I had seen friends in my life go through some really tough relationships of guys who didn't respect them or treat them right. And I became very, very self-protective to a fault, honestly. And I did not want to date. Like, I was like, God, I refuse to date. I had also had my heart broken. And so I didn't want to date. I was so mad at the whole thing. And I was like, God, I refuse to date. You're going to have to bring the person to me. I give this over to you. And when it's your timing, you speak to me. You make it so evident. You make it so obvious that this is you, like that you are bringing me this person, and cool beans. Guys, God did it. Because in December of, I want to say 2017. Okay, I want to say 2017. I'm going to go with that number. You know what happens? I am praying in my room one day, and I felt the Lord just kind of give me this word and basically saying, I was just kind of like this prompting from the Holy Spirit, this conviction. Honestly, when I say God spoke to me, it really felt like this conviction from the Lord where I felt kind of God telling me, that your time is coming. Like, when you're in December and you kind of start praying, okay, God, what do you want to do in this new upcoming year that's coming up? Because I feel like the start of a new year is kind of my favorite part of the year, like December coming into January, because it feels like this fresh start. And I remember praying to God and saying, Lord, I want to get married. And at this point, like I had graduated nursing school. I am now 22 years old. I'm 19 when I met Daniel. Oh, so it wasn't that many years. I was 19 when I met Daniel, and now I'm 22 years old. I've graduated from college and I'm kind of ready to settle down. Like I want to get married. I know I was young, but in my mind, I wasn't. And at this point, I'm like 22, about to turn 23. And I'm like, God, I'm ready to date. I'm ready. Like I have a full-time job. I'm ready for what's next. And I felt the Lord tell me 2018 is going to be the year that you meet the person you're supposed to marry. I know it sounds really woo-woo, but like I really felt God speak that into me. And I also felt this conviction from God of him saying, Carla, it's time to start praying for this. Like it's time to lock in and like, you're going to pray for this. Okay. You're going to pray that I bring you the person. Just like everything in your life, it's been such a spiritual battle and you've had to fight and you've had to like cry out to me. I need you to trust me with this. I really felt that conviction from God. So I start praying for my future husband. I start asking God, and basically I really feel the Lord speak to me that yeah, it was coming. Fast forward a couple months, and then I get this text from my brother and my sister-in-law, like apparently Daniel is single and he's wondering about me. And I'm like, I don't know. It scared me. I'm going to be super honest with you, because I always had this admiration for him. Like I really did think he was such a great person, such a great guy. And I have watched him from afar, but like to consider him romantically, I was like, that is so scary, because I already like him as a person, and I already used to have a crush on him when I was a teenager. So like, I was like, I don't know, this is scary, right? Because he is related to my brother's wife. Like, oh, like, like if we date and like it doesn't work out, how awkward is it going to be? It's going to be like super awkward. So, hi. What time is it? Yeah, it's not that late. Sorry, Daniel just walked out of his office to hear me talking about him. I'm telling the story of how we met and got married.
Best story in the world.
Best story in the world. All right, you might hear Daniel in the background taking the dog out. But basically, I was like, if we date and like it doesn't work out, it's gonna be so awkward on Christmas, on holidays. Like my sister-in-law was like, I don't know if she was pregnant yet, but like, it's just, you start thinking of all these things, right? Like, oh, if it doesn't go right, it's going to be so awkward, because when do you ever hear of like siblings marrying each other? Like it happens obviously, but it's so rare that I was like, oh, this is weird. I don't know. But I already had a deep admiration for Daniel, which it really blossomed into love very quickly after we started talking and dating. So basically I tell my brother, okay, I think I consider it. I know they were freaking out like, oh snap. Later to, come to find out, Daniel did send his sister and my brother to ask me like what I would think if I would go for it. So then Daniel starts, texting me because he needed me to teach Bible Institute to some youth at our district of the Assemblies of God, and kind of use that as an excuse to weave in and start conversing with me and texting with me. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm freaking out. I really like him. Like I really like him. And we just start talking and talking. We talk for months, you guys, even though, okay, this is the takeaway. I'm going to give you a takeaway now. Even though we like knew each other, even though we known each other for 5 years before, because if my math is correct, we knew each other for 5 years before We even started like before we even got married or anything. So we knew each other for years, but we needed now to get to know each other in a different sense. Now we needed to get to know each other romantically, and that is a whole different ball game. And it was so fun, honestly, to get to know a different side of Daniel, for him to tell me things more personally, because I would know about things going on in his life because of his sister and, when she would talk to my brother and everything. So, I had insight into his life, but like to hear from him, to hear his perspective on, our favorite preachers, and like, guys, getting to know him was such an honor. Like, I was like, honestly, a few months in, I'm like, I like this guy so much. I love this guy. Like, I don't like him. Like, I love this guy. So anyways, Daniel and I went on to date for 7 months, and about the 6th month into our relationship, guys, I know I'm going to marry him. Like, our personalities meshed so well. We were so compatible, and our lives were heading in the same direction. Like, we're both in ministry. We're both loving the Lord. We're both chasing God. We're both we know what God has called us to do. We don't have it all together. We're not perfect, but like, we both desire to have families and to have kids and all of these things. So, our purposes were so well aligned. The caliber of integrity and who we wanted to be was so aligned. This is really important, you guys. You want to date somebody. You want to get married. And to be honest with you guys, doing this whole dating thing of we're just dating around and having fun, it's fine. Like, you can have dates and have fun, but I'm going to be super honest with you. If you start introducing sex into it, I'm just going to say it like that because I don't know if YouTube will catch it. My husband's laughing at me, but I really don't know if YouTube will catch it if I say the word. I'm a nurse. I don't mind saying anything, but I don't know if YouTube will ding me for it. But, if you start adding the physical component, if you start oversharing things and you and that person haven't built a relationship over time, again, me and Daniel's story is very different because we already knew each other. You know what I'm saying? So building that intimate friendship that then blossoms into love, because I really think that's how it should go. Where he won my trust, because I was a very distrusting person. Like, as a girl, I was very overprotective of myself. And so Daniel had to break down a lot of my boundaries, not boundaries, like a lot of my fears and insecurities. And he did that by like consistently proving me the integrity that he had. For example, like, when he said he was going to pick me up for a date at 8:00, he was knocking on my door at 7:55. Like, I was like, this guy, like, I'm still, and I was always late to all their dates. And my mom would get mad. She's like, Carla, tienes ese muchacho esperando afuera, or Carla, you got this kid waiting outside. Like, what are you doing? But like, I was like so impressed by everything he did, because when he promised like something, like, he would show up. And he, many times, because he lived about an hour and a half away from me, he would like surprise me all the time and like just show up to like a random church service and be like, hey, because our work schedules, and Daniel was also in school at the time, like, and working full time. Like, this guy had no life. I had no life, like, I'm working, I'm in ministry. Like, we were so busy, but he would like figure out how to make time for me. Like, even if it was surprising me in a random church service, driving an hour and a half to come see me and just popping in, like, I'm like, the sacrifice that this guy had to made to come see me, I was head over heels. I'm like, this guy is amazing. Like, he is chasing me. He is proving to me like that he is trustworthy. So you could do the whole serial dating thing. You can have fun and all these things, but can I be honest with you guys? Like, you are worth so much more than that, than a situationship. You are worth so much more than a guy who just wants to talk. Like, how nice, right? That this guy just wants to be like pouring out his emotional baggage on you, or wants to touch up on you. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. But he hasn't put in any work to show or to prove to you that he wants the best for you, that he honors the call of God on your life, that he honors who God created you to be. Why are we giving these dudes all this access to us in all the ways? You're a grown up. You know what I'm talking about. Why are we giving these guys all this access to us, but they don't even take us out to a nice dinner? But they're not taking you out and like spending money on you. And I'm not saying, of course, like, money is everything, but I remember in this season, I didn't even know how broke Daniel was. He was so broke. He was like a college student. He had to go down a little bit on his hours at work. He had bills to pay. And he would literally pick up extra shifts to take me out on dates. And I didn't pay for anything. And guys, I have a big girl job. I'm a nurse and I was still living with my parents. So I had disposable income. But he always made me feel like a princess. Guys, you need a guy to do that for you. I'm sorry. It's totally fine if you're the damsel in distress and he's out here slaying dragons for you to win your heart over. Like, these fools, like, I don't know, maybe this is wrong of me. You just let me know in the comments, but I honestly feel like a guy is a player until he proves me otherwise. As women, we have to protect ourselves. Don't be Alcatraz, right? Don't put so many walls around you nobody can get through, but do have protective boundaries. Have some fences in place, because man, getting your heart hurt over and over again, getting bamboozled over and over again, that's gonna mess you up. You're gonna have a hard time in relationships. Protect yourself. You have so much value and you're worth so much more than a guy who just wants a good time. If he wants a good time, he can go to Disney. Quite honestly, he can go to Disney. You are not Disney. You're not a ride, okay? You are a daughter of the Most High God. You have value. And that's why my husband, Daniel at the time, like, he really treated me like a rare commodity, like a diamond mine from the depths of the earth. And I was so impressed. When Daniel and we did our wedding vows, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the moment I knew he was the one. But when we did our wedding vows, we wrote our own wedding vows. And of course, we had no idea what the other was going to say at all. I wrote my wedding vows the night before my wedding. So neither of us knew what the other was going to say. And we both had the same, scary guys, we both had the same phrase in our vows. And it was the words, "You impress me." We both had the same phrase in our wedding vows. Crazy. So the person that God has for you should be impressive. And I'm not talking about impressive of just like money or status or fame or whatever accomplishments. I'm talking character. I'm talking about integrity. I'm talking about work ethic. I'm talking about how they treat the people around them. Like, for me, it was always super impressive how Daniel treated his mom, how he treated his sister, the way he opened the doors for women, the way, like, all the women, like, it didn't matter who it was. He treated women with like a very beautiful respect. Like, he would open the doors for women. Like, if he would open the door for me and there was like a family coming in behind me and there was like a mom with her kid, he would like stand there and hold the door open for them. Like, it was just like this respect, this chivalry that I honestly thought it was dead. I thought it didn't exist anymore. But this man, he acted like he was from the 1950s. Like, it was impressive. And I was like, head over heels. And if you are asking yourself, do these men no longer exist? I'm going to answer that with a question. And that is, do you hold men up to this standard? Because as women, I know this is not going to sound fair, but I don't think, listen, life's not fair. Life is real. And the reality is, I think we need to hold men up to a high standard so that they go and meet that standard. If us women lay down our standards and we're just like not caring and we're not setting these boundaries and saying, yeah, I won't have anything less than this, then men are not gonna rise up to the occasion. You know what I mean? So it's really about moms saying, hey, this is how you treat women. It's about fathers saying, this is how you treat women. And it's about women that are in the dating scene, young adult women saying, This is how you treat me. Oh, you never treated a woman like this before? You about to learn. This is how you treat me. And I'm telling you, this is in every sphere of your life, girl. Like if this is like in work, this is like in church, this is in relationships. And so yeah, he impressed me. And so like the 6-month mark, I was ready to talk marriage. Honestly, I was ready to talk marriage like month 3, but I didn't want to freak him out. But despite my crash outs, because there was a moment in our relationship where I like crashed out because I got scared. I think I got scared of how deeply I was falling for him. And it scared me because I'm highly independent. And even though I wanted to have a family and a husband and everything, that was always a dream of mine. But like I was so independent and so I didn't like how loving him put me in a place that he could hurt me. And I'm talking about like, like my own insecurities talking to me were like, oh, what if one day he doesn't even like me anymore? Or I'm not as funny as I thought, he thought I was, or maybe, I don't know, he just doesn't like me as much as I think he does. And I remember just knowing that I'm like, oh my gosh, head over heels for this guy. And loving is risky. When you love someone, that means that person is now in a position to wound you deeply. And that scared me a lot. So I had to crash out like halfway through our dating phase. And I remember like Daniel handled it like a champ and put me at ease. Everything about our relationship was like, he put me at ease. It wasn't easy, but he put me at ease. Like he was just so consistent. So about month 6, I remember Daniel, I don't remember who brought up the conversation, but we're just in conversation. And the conversation really turns into how we feel about each other, which was so beautiful. It's not easy to open up to someone and like tell them how you feel. But I remember that we just start talking about how we feel about each other. And the conversation turns into we're both saying, I think we're going to get married. It's soon. Like, I think we're ready for the next step. And I was just like, is this happening? What I prayed for so long, like, is it happening? Because like during my teenage years, even my early 20s, like I wouldn't date. I'm telling you guys, I wouldn't date. I had one bad experience and I was like, it's just me and Jesus. So my dreams coming true. And I remember like, it was this knowing, like, I don't even know. I wish it wasn't so woo-woo sounding, but I knew because of the track record that Daniel had shown me. The thing that convinced me he was the one, it was the track record. It was the fact that he said he would, what he said he was going to do, he did it. The integrity, and also the people that surrounded him. Because when you date someone, don't just be you and him, you and him, you and him, you and him. No, do group outings. Watch his family. See how he interacts with his family. Because a person isn't just who they show you. The people around that person will also reveal to you who that person really is. The people that know him best. So be careful with like the whole it's just you and him, you and him, you and him. Bring him around your friends. Bring him around your family. Bring him around the people that know you best. And they might have some opinions. Like they might be able to see things in that person that maybe you are so blinded by the infatuation, things that maybe you're not seeing. And that's huge. And to be honest with you, like my parents loved Daniel, and like I said, our families were so well connected, and it was just like everything was checked off on the list, y'all. And it was like I could finally say without a doubt, this guy is who I'm meant to marry. And of course, I prayed to God so much in that season. I was like, God, if this is not you, take it away, take it away, take it away. And this is you, Lord, do your thing. And yeah, by month 7 of our dating relationship, Daniel popped the question, surprised me. And then the next video, I'll talk to you guys about how he proposed to me and how we started our life together, and like how like God brought all of that together, because we have so many beautiful stories of our engagement. So I'm going to leave it at that. This was a really lengthy and chatty video, but that's how I met my husband. That's how I knew he was the one. And hopefully it blessed you and gave you ideas of things to look for in your own relationship and things that you can kind of present to the Lord, present to God, like your desire to get married, and prayer. This is a waiting season, and I know it can be hard to be single, But honestly, this is the season for you to become the one. This is the season not just be like, I want to find the one, but this is the season for you to become the very person that you might be looking for. Look inward and say, examine yourself and say, am I that person that is full of integrity, knows where she's going, knows what she likes, has her boundaries in place, is sure of herself and who God has called her to be? If you're not there yet, get into that process with God. Have him build you up, because a successful relationship is not about a half person and a half person coming together and making a whole. It's a whole person and a whole person, and together they're one flesh. So I need you to lock in with the Lord, get processed by God, because relationships are hard and you want to be emotionally, spiritually, and mentally mature. Anyways, I hope this video blessed you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. My throat is so done.